Have you ever sat down with your child, you're holding a book or a flashcard in your hand, and thought, what if I'm teaching them wrong? What if I mess this up? Can I do more damage than good? Well, you're not alone. Almost every parent I've worked with has asked that exact question at some point. Today I want to shed some light on this fear and reveal a few truths that will help you relax, breathe easier, and actually enjoy teaching your child to read. My name is Mark, and I've been teaching children to read for over 20 years, both in the classroom as well as working hand in hand with parents who have taken that courageous leap, looked the education system in the eye, and said, I can do better. Now, you're likely here today because a nasty little thing called doubt has reared its ugly head to strip away some of that nice, shiny confidence you had when you first started. Now, I'm here to tell it to you straight. You cannot ruin your child's reading by trying. The biggest mistake isn't doing it wrong. The biggest mistake is being too afraid to even try. So let's start with this. Children are far more resilient than we give them credit for. If you accidentally teach a reading skill wrong way or the wrong way, maybe you focus too much on remembering sight words, a lot of memory work, or you say, sound it out, in a way that confuses them. Well, don't panic. Children are in an incredible state of mental flexibility. Their survival instincts are cranked to 10. In other words, most children can adapt to change better than we adults. Now, I've seen it time and again, and I've taught over 600 children. The truth is, children will encounter dozens of different teaching styles over the years, and some of it will strike a chord and achieve excellent results, while other lessons are about as exciting as watching an egg boil. What matters is that they are consistently exposed to these core elements: language, books, and practice. If you need to adjust the way you teach, your child will adapt and roll with it. Resilience is the superpower of youth. The second truth you need to hear: connection matters more than perfection. Think about it. If your child associates reading time with stress, pressure, or fear, they'll resist it. Have you ever put off going to the dentist? What was it? The drill, the scraping, the cost? Those fears are well-founded, and we could unintentionally build the same level of fear and neurosis when it comes to reading and our children. But if reading time feels like an oasis of parental warmth, compassion, and encouragement, even if your teaching technique isn't where you'd like it to be, they still tune in to the sincere effort you make. They know you care. The strongest readers in my class weren't always the ones with an intellectual advantage. They were the children who enjoyed sitting with an adult to discover a book together and laugh over silly sound effects and character voices. Now, when they were asked to read portions out loud, we rejoiced over the words and sentences they got right and worked on some of the things they didn't as a class. This is a way of moving the spotlight away from the one child's error to something the whole class could benefit from. Now, here's a practical tip for you folks at home. Instead of highlighting an error with, no, that's wrong, you can make it a team exploratory exercise with the phrase, let's check that sound out together, shall we? A little detective work. The third truth: you don't need the perfect curriculum. They're next to impossible to come by anyway. What you do need more than anything else is consistency. 10 minutes a day of simple, focused reading activities, letters, sounds, blending, or just exploring books together. It's the small daily deposits of time that build confident, fluent readers. Any accomplished musician will tell you that 15 minutes of practice every day is better than one 8-hour marathon of practice once a week, and I've been there. Consistency is what moves the needle. Now, let's pause and recap. If you take nothing else from this video, remember these 3 truths. Children are resilient. You can't break them by teaching the wrong way. Connection matters more than perfection. And consistency beats complexity every single time. If you hold on to these 3, you'll never have to ask that question again. So if you've been lying awake at night wondering, what if I mess this up? Hear me clearly. The fact that you're even watching this video tells me you are the kind of parent who takes the time to reflect on the quality of the lessons you teach. Your humility is inspiring. Not to mention the obvious other factors that make helping parents an absolute joy for me. You care more than anyone else. You're showing up each day, and each time you fall off that horse, you climb back on and you keep trying. Hey, that's half the battle won already. Your child doesn't need a perfect teacher. They need you. Now, here's one simple thing we can start to do today that might help you put the spring back into your step. Choose a book that your child loves. Every day this week, sit down together for just 10 minutes and let them own the experience. Now, if they're reading some of this book to you, if they stumble, support gently. If they succeed, celebrate loudly. By the end of the week, you'll see their confidence grow and your fear of doing it wrong will shrink. So what if you have been teaching your child the wrong way? Well, humble teachers who care about making a difference, they never stop learning. I made so many silly blunders when I first started that I look back and I still cringe. But no one ever doubted my sincerity. I adjusted my methods, my technique, and remained connected and consistent. So, you're not a trained professional. I was a trained professional and still screwed up. I love the expression, I'm learning so much from my mistakes, I'm thinking of making more. We learn, we adapt our methods. In turn, our blessedly resilient children will ease into these little adjustments and eventually, with your help, learn one of the greatest life skills you can possibly teach, reading. I would love to hear from you, dear moms and dads. Drop a comment below and tell me, maybe what's your biggest fear, your concerns when it comes to teaching your child to read, and I promise to address it in a future video. Until then, I'll see you next time.